Hello, my fellow Welt lovers. Okay, so the hype train is officially rolling again because Honkai Star Rail 3.7 beta will start on September 25th. And guess who's making her grand entrance? Cyrene. And she's not just dropping into the game like some casual side character. No. She's pulling up with her own skin, because apparently it's illegal for HSR to release a new waifu without also trying to destroy our wallets with drip marketing. A new character and a new skin in one patch? Hoyoverse knows exactly what they're doing. They looked at us, saw the state of our stellar jade reserves, and said, haha, good luck losers. And honestly, they're right, because you and I both know we're probably going to roll for her anyway. Topping up in Genshin or Star Rail can get expensive, and let's be honest, we've all seen those in-game prices and wished they were just a bit lower. Well, that's exactly what LD Shop is here for. This is LD Shop, the official top-up platform developed by the LD Player Emulator Group. It lets you top up your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Star Rail at huge discounts, up to 23% off or more. And yeah, it's super easy to use. All you need is your server and UID, and your top-up will show up in-game within just a few minutes. It's safe, reliable, and used by thousands of players. You can even compare prices, for example, something like the Supply Pass or a 6480 Stellar Jade Bundle. It's way cheaper here than in-game. If you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon and an extra 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 on your first top-ups. Plus, LD Shop gives you the same first top-up bonus you get in-game, so you're not missing out on anything. And if you're planning to spend more, here's a bonus. If you spend over $80, you'll unlock VIP status, which gives you a free supply pass and more perks. So if you're looking to save while still getting everything you normally would in-game, just use the link in the description and get Cerydra while saving more. Now, let's talk leaks, because you know that's what we live for. According to leaks, Cyrene is shaping up to be an HP-based support, but there's a catch. She might not be the universal type of support we all love to abuse, like Robin or Sunday. Instead, she's being called a Chrysos Heirs specialist. Yep, you heard me. That means her whole kit is designed to buff specifically Chrysos Heirs units. And bro, the beta testers didn't even bother testing her outside of those teams. Like, they straight up put her only in Chrysos Heirs comps, which makes me think Hoyoverse hard-coded her kit to scream, if you're not an heir, you don't get my love. That's already sparking chaos in the community because people are asking, how does that work? How can she buff, say, Mighty Eye, but not Blade or Jinglu, when they're all technically HP scaling characters? And what about Cypher? Does he get to eat at the buff table, or is he just gonna sit in the corner like an unloved stepchild? Apparently, one earlier leak even said her kit might literally name-drop the Chrysos heirs to target them specifically. That's some HI3RD style coding right there, where characters can just blatantly say, nah, only this faction gets the juice. And if that's true, it's going to completely warp how people look at her value. Because on one hand, if you're already a Chrysos heirs enjoyer, this is like Hoyoverse hand-delivering you a god-tier support. She could be the Castoria of this faction, turbocharging all your faves and making your life easy. On the other hand, if you're like me and your account doesn't really lean into heirs, then suddenly you're staring at a shiny new 5-star who looks gorgeous, but doesn't actually slot into your mainline teams. And let's be real, that hurts. That's like watching everyone else pop off in memory of chaos, while you sit there trying to make her work with Acheron or Firefly and just crying into your Trailblaze power. Now, this all ties into the bigger question. Should you pull or skip? Because let's be honest, every patch we're asking ourselves the same thing. We don't have infinite Stellar Jade, and Hoyoverse is out here releasing bangers one after another. The Cyrene skin is already bait. The units look gorgeous. And then they sprinkle in this Chrysos Heirs synergy, narrative to force FOMO on anyone who's built Castorice. It's a trap, people. But maybe it's the kind of trap worth falling into, depending on your account. Let's break it down. Cyrene being HP-based is already solid, because HP scaling tends to age well, it's reliable, it fits with sustained meta shifts, and it makes characters feel less brittle in high-end content. If she ends up having some pseudo-universal value hidden under the heir-specific buffs, she could actually sneak her way into non-heirs teams too, even if it's not her main design. And the timing of her release in 3.7 is suspiciously perfect. We know that once we hit forward at X, the Trailblazer's path is shifting, and buffs like true damage are going out the window. And honestly, this is where Hoyoverse is just evil geniuses, because dropping Cyrene right before the forward at X era basically makes her feel like account insurance. Like, you don't know what the next few patches are going to look like, but at least if you have Cyrene sitting on your roster, you've got a safety net. Think about it, new bosses, new mechanics, trailblazer path shifting, and who knows what else. Maybe they throw in enemies that punish raw DPS, but crumble under air style synergy. Suddenly, the people who skip Cyrene are scrambling while the air enjoyers are chilling. It's the classic Hoyoverse future-proof bait, and I hate how good they are at it. That's huge, because true damage has been a staple mechanic for ages now. Losing that leaves a hole, and suddenly supports who can add new kinds of scaling or utility become essential. Cyrene is already being floated as one of those future-proof supports who covers the buff gap left behind. And if Cyrene leans into that too, suddenly both of them look like safe investments going into the meta shift. But here's the kicker. We just don't know yet how restrictive that Chrysos Heir's only label is going to be. If she literally can't buff outside that group, then she's instantly niche. If she just buffs heirs more but can still support others in a weaker way, then boom, suddenly she's a long-term keeper like Robin. The devil's in the details, and you already know Hoyoverse isn't showing us the full cards yet. Also, can we talk about how dirty Hoyoverse is with the skin timing? Cyrene comes in with a skin right out of the gate, and you know it's going to be gorgeous. They're packaging her as a premium product. New unit, new cosmetics, immediate hype. This is the exact kind of patch where free-to-play players cry blood because every decision feels like an expensive choice. Do you roll for the shiny new HP support? Do you save for your Husbando rerun in 3.8? Do you give in and buy the skin? Spoiler. Hoyoverse doesn't care which choice you make, because they win either way. But I'll be real with you. If you've already invested in Chrysos Heirs, Cyrene is probably going to feel mandatory. If you haven't, she might just be a skip, unless the FOMO gets you, and honestly, it probably will, because that skin is about to be everywhere on social media, making us all weak. Cyrene is in the exact same boat. Insane value if you're air-aligned, questionable otherwise. So the real answer to pull or skip is less about them as units, and more about your account. Ask yourself, do you want to future-proof your air teams? Do you trust Hoyoverse to eventually flood us with more air units, so Cyrene's value skyrockets? Or do you gamble that she'll be too niche and save your gems for the next universal meta queen? That's the decision. And let's be real, this whole situation is peak F2P pain. Hoyoverse lines everything up, so you're not just choosing between pulling a new unit, you're choosing between pulling the unit, buying the skin, and saving for the inevitable rerun that drops right after. It's like wallet PvP, and we're all losing. Every time you think you've saved enough jades, boom. New waifu with god-tier animations, boom. Your Husbando rerun, boom. Limited light cone sitting there looking at you like, pull me, coward. And sure, you can skip, but then you're scrolling Twitter seeing Cyrene skins everywhere, and suddenly your willpower evaporates. Hoyoverse knows exactly how weak we are, and they weaponize it perfectly. So to wrap this rant up, Cyrene in 3.7 is gorgeous, hype, and dangerous for your wallet. She might be the next meta staple, or she might be too niche for her own good. We just need more testing. Cyrene is in the exact same limbo. Both are clearly designed with Chrysos Heirs in mind, and both will probably dominate if that's your lane. But if not, think hard before you throw your pulls away. Because once again, Hoyoverse is playing 4D chess, and we're all just pawns with empty wallets.